Good morning. My name is Kaz Burr. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the ministerial intern here at White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We are a group of people from a wide theological tent, from many walks of life, who are bound together not by creed, but by covenant. WBUUC is a home that will hold you in love and gently push you to go out into the world and be the best version of yourself. May belonging be something you feel deep in your bones here. In this place, we search for meaning and spiritual depth in the midst of a world that breaks our hearts over and over and over again. We are a place that is committed to bringing about a more just world, a world where all of us are free to be our fullest selves, a world where our immigrant neighbors are safe, where our trans beloveds don't live in fear, where nonviolence is the law of the land. We gather to dream together, to love together, to live together. Welcome. We are a far more joyful and vibrant community with you here. If you are worshiping with us online today, please share in the chat where you are Zooming from. And for those in the room, would you take a moment to greet someone close to you, maybe even someone you don't know yet? I love the sound of people talking. In the morning, yep. Special shout out goes to the folks who are visiting us today. Keep coming back. I've only been here for 7 weeks, and I can tell you this is a very special place. To share a request for today's meditation, please place it in the chat box before the opening hymn, or add it to our meditation bowl. The meditation bowl is in the Soul Work Center, along with activities for people who like to keep their hands busy while they listen. All ages are welcome in our services, and we have spiritual growth programs for children and youth during each service. If any of this piques your interest, please see Amy Peterson, our Director of Religious Education. Everyone is invited to join us at our coffee hour following service in the social hall, which is right back there, and welcome. It is a joy to be together this morning.
My name is Amy, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm your Director of Religious Education. Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes, for here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. And welcome.
My name is Tina Soderstrom. My pronouns are they, them. In May, I started school at St. Mary's University in Minneapolis, working toward a master's in marriage and family therapy. One reason why I chose this program is because it has a strong cohort model. I wanted to learn in person with a group of people who would grow along with me and become my colleagues. Fairly often, we get to interact with the students from previous cohorts. And I'm so grateful for them because they're full of kindness and wisdom, even the students who are just a year ahead of us. I love to read, and although I'm overloaded with readings for my classes, I always have time to read something for fun. And I often pick something aligned with therapy because to me, that's nerdy fun. When the president of the Student Association recommended the book, What Happened to You? Conversations on Trauma, Resilience, and Healing by Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Bruce Perry, I got on the library wait list for the audiobook, and soon enough, it was my turn to listen to it. In my studies, I'm learning all kinds of therapy theories and techniques. Some really light me up, and others, not so much. One technique that really resonates with me is reframing. It's used in most forms of systemic family therapy and has bubbled up to pop psychology, so you're probably familiar with it. A reframe is offering a different angle or view of a story someone tells themselves. Reframing allows people to change how they understand a situation or behavior, which helps them view problems in a more positive light or manageable light. It's really honest. It's not trying to paint the situation with happy rainbows and sunshine. The book, What Happened to You, dives into really tough stories about trauma. It's not for the faint of heart. And the title itself is a really beautiful reframe. It's so easy for us to judge someone around us who's doing strange, reckless, or even cruel things and wonder, what is wrong with you? But the stories in this book invite us to ask instead, what happened to you? Oprah and Dr. Perry ask us to look and listen with compassion instead of blame and shame. As a parent, as a future therapist, compassion often drives the way I show up in the world. Compassion for those around me, recognizing the suffering of the world and responding to it, but also compassion for myself. I know there's trauma in my past. I know there is deep hurt in my past. So I practice slowing down. I practice curiosity with inner and outer critics, and I practice talking kindly to myself. Today, I light the chalice as an invitation to reframe blame and shame to compassion. Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another. A quick note that our next song, hymn 168 in the Gray Hymnal, contains some language surrounding walking and stepping forward. We understand that not all our neighbors have the ability to walk, and we wanted to lift this up as we sing this song. This journey forward is for all of us, whether we are stepping, rolling, or moving into the future with one another.
Good morning. I invite anyone young or young at heart to come forward for story time. This morning, our story time revolves around perceptions of innocence as it pertains to youth and perceptions of wisdom as it pertains to our elders. For many of us, we see a young one, a little toddler or babe in arms, and we think about how precious and innocent and sweet they are. And equally, we see an elder and assume that with the accumulation of their years, they have also accrued wisdom, life experiences, and perspectives that allow them to see a fuller picture of life. And I'm not here to contradict that assumption. There is innocence and wisdom right here in this room. For now, what I want us to think about is what happens between those two poles, those 2 points in time, and how can all of us connect to our younger self and our elder self. For instance, do you know that everyone here was once a baby? With bewildered parents and adoring grandparents. So I have an exercise of imagination to share with you. Imagine that you are as old as you'll ever be. Imagine that point in the future when you arrive. Picture yourself in that moment. Maybe there will be some gray or white hairs, like the ones in my beard. Maybe there'll be no hair. Do you picture that person in your mind's eye as having wisdom? Is it easy to be curious about that person? Is it easy to have compassion on that person? Now, I invite you to wonder what it would feel like to know that however old we are currently, we have some wisdom. Not as much as we will have later, but we have some wisdom. We have some life experiences under our belt. We make the best decisions that we can based on what we know and what we've experienced. Sometimes I think that some of us can get down on ourselves for not being as wise as we want to be. But this morning I give you a simple invitation. What might it feel like to have compassion on yourself when you encounter the ways that you aren't nearly as wise as one day you will be? And on the other end of the spectrum, I invite you to imagine yourself as a baby. For some of you, just a few years ago, but for some in this room, maybe 80 years or more. Imagine, again, that baby with those adoring but possibly terrified parents, adoring grandparents. Maybe that baby had siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles who were just so happy to meet you. Imagine that baby's helplessness and curiosity about the world. You had no concept of time or productivity, but just a firm grasp on your basic needs: food, shelter, warmth. Imagine with me this sheer miracle of life in its small and beginning stages. We don't expect our littles to be as wise or as strong or as self-sufficient as one day they will be. We hope and expect for them to be adorable and loving and beautiful and curious and kind and charming. And I think that sometimes we can get down on ourselves, no matter our age, for not being as cute and kind and curious as once we were. Back when we were young and helpless, thinking only about milk and warmth and connection. This morning, I give you a simple invitation. What might it feel like to have compassion on yourself when you notice that you aren't as innocent and curious and adorable as once you were? What might it feel like to connect to your inner child, the part of you that still needs and craves love and affection, food and warmth? And what might it feel like to connect to your elder self, the part of you that has accrued wisdom and perspective, with life experiences under your belt, challenges surmounted, grief and losses metabolized, joys and celebrations brightening the canvas of your life? Wherever you are on life's journey today, I want you to remember that you were once a child with abundant innocence and carefree curiosity, and you will one day be older and wiser than you are today. Today, our assignment is to think about self-compassion. And maybe that task will be made easier if you think about having compassion for your child self or your elder self. However you get there, I hope you can find compassion for yourself today. And now we will sing our children and youth out to their classes. Please rise and body your spirit for Go Lift It Up, number 1057 in the teal hymnal. Will you join me for a moment of meditation or prayer? We know that there is power in gathering together in community, calling out for justice, naming our hopes, and speaking aloud the prayers and intentions of our hearts. This morning, in the face of all the injustices marshaled against those on the margins, we honor a feeling of resistance. We commit to continue the fight against injustice anywhere, because it's a threat to justice everywhere. This morning, this community holds many things in light and many people in love. David Dixon passed away late Tuesday evening. Prayers for his wife, Carol Pierce, and his children and grandchildren. His memorial is scheduled for Saturday, November 8th. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember him. Continued prayers for David Heath and his family as David nears the end of his life. Russell Diedrich is starting chemo this week for multiple myeloma. His doctors have told him that he has an almost 100% chance of recovery. Prayers of support and recovery are still welcome as he enters this chapter. Prayers for former member Claire Gilbert, who is hospitalized and far from home. And we have gratitude here from Siglinda for her medical care team for her sinus surgery. She can breathe through both nostrils and she's recovering well. Many of our members and friends have undergone surgery the past few weeks. We pray for continued healing and recovery. And for all those struggling physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we pray for relief, for clarity, for acceptance, for strength, connection, care, and community. And now we pause for just a moment to think about the beloveds in our life that need a little extra positive energy this morning and resilience. Their names might even be on the tips of our tongues. And we take a moment right now to name them out loud in this space. Trusting that we are a stronger community when we gather together in this way and name these prayers and cares. May it be so, and amen. Please remain seated as we sing all three verses of Filled with Loving Kindness. May I be filled, may you be filled, may we be filled, and let it serve as a meditation on concentric loving kindness this morning.
We have a few announcements today. The first one is that next Sunday is our Day of Remembrance Sunday. You are welcome to bring a photo of your deceased beloved to place on our remembrance table before we light candles to remember them. Looking for some Halloween fun for the whole family? Music on Maple presents The Bazillions on Saturday, October 25th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Join us for an evening of pizza and live music. Show off your Halloween costumes and dance the night away with the Twin Cities' favorite kid-friendly rock band. Tickets are pay what you can with a suggested donation of $5. Our annual auction is 4 weeks from yesterday, on November 15th. We are still collecting items for auction, and we also encourage all of you crafty crafters to get your wares ready for the bazaar. And lastly, we are looking for some volunteer callers to help with an outreach project. We want to reach out to members that we haven't seen or heard from in a while, and we need your help to do this. If you are interested in helping, please stop at the table in the social hall where you can sign up. A member of the Belonging and Community team will be there to answer any questions you may have. For our offering today, today's special collection is for Fresh Energy, a St. Paul-based nonprofit that has worked since its creation in 1992 to reduce Minnesota carbon emissions from electrical power generation, buildings, agriculture, transportation, and industry. The organization's team of scientists, economists, policy analysts, and educators has advised the Minnesota legislature, public utilities, and others regarding policies and processes designed to achieve carbon-neutral results. Thanks to Fresh Energy, Minnesota is a national leader in helping reduce carbon emissions. After the service, the Global Climate Action Committee will be available in the social hall to show a short video of Fresh Energy's history and work, and to answer questions. The Climate Committee plans to host Fresh Energy here at WBUUC for a climate program in early 2026. You can donate in 4 ways. Please indicate energy with your online, check or text donation. You can contribute to the collection basket today. You can contribute to WBUUC's webpage, or you can send a check or leave a check in the locked box outside the office. Text to give by following the directions that will be on the sanctuary screens momentarily. Thank you so much for your generosity and your faith in this life we live together. We will pass the baskets now.
Thank you for your music. The first reading is the 5 Remembrances of Buddhism. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. The second reading is from the book Sacred Self-Care by Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes. When I began my self-care journey 20 years ago, I started each day by repeating a set of affirmations. The set has changed over time, but there's one I return to frequently. I am enough. I am enough turns out to be the message that I need most often to tame my inner critic, who unfortunately tries to prepare me for the world by reiterating its messages that I am not a good enough mother, partner, daughter, teacher, scholar, minister, or Christian. My inner critic constantly dangles in front of me what I should, ought, and must do in order to feel good enough. But it's a trick. Because when I do that thing, the feeling is fleeting. I am enough, in contrast, is not a feeling. It's a knowing, one that comes from deep within my fiber.
When I got the call from Reverend Jessica that I'd gotten the job here at WBUUC, I was shocked. On the phone that day, I ended our conversation by saying this: Jessica, I take the opportunity to work at White Bear with the utmost seriousness, and I want you to know that I'm going to give this my all. And I meant that from the bottom of my heart. After our conversation, the reality began to sink in that I would get to minister to this community for a full church year. And it was hard for me to contain my excitement. I called family and friends, I shared the news with classmates, and I began the process of mentally preparing myself for this job. I really wanted to be prepared. I combed through the website and dug into the culture of this place. While I knew I would bring my own gifts to this space, I wanted to familiarize myself with the history and the tradition that I was stepping into. Just from my interview and the building tour that Dick Haskett gave me, I could tell that the church had a powerful energy to it that I wanted to plug into. The job started for me the day after Labor Day, and it was a whirlwind. Meetings left and right, getting to know all of your names and trying really, really hard to remember them. It was a beautiful time of newness and wonder for me. I felt immediately welcomed here. During our first worship meeting, Jessica asked me if I wanted to read the opening words that are read at the beginning of every service. Amy read them today. Come into this place we make holy by our presence. Beautiful words. I told the staff that I'd love to read them, and as Water Communion approached, I practiced reading them over and over and over again. I wanted to be able to read them smoothly, with purpose and meaning. Like many folks new to a job, I wanted to make a good first impression. I stepped into the pulpit that day feeling good, feeling loose. I looked out into the pews, introduced myself, and began to read. Come into this space, this place. Here we go again, right? We make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. Well, that's almost how I read it. I said ears and anxieties instead of fears and anxieties. Bring your ears, everyone. Oops. I immediately knew I had made a mistake, but I kept reading on as if nothing happened. Inside, I was crushed. After the service, folks came up to me and said how much they appreciated the way I read the words. But it was extremely hard for me to internalize what was being said. The rest of the day and into the evening, I was kicking myself. Instead of walking away from my first service here with my head held high, I zeroed in on a mistake I'd made. It ate me alive for a little bit. I brought up my verbal slip-up in the staff retreat during a check-in. And later that week, Reverend Jack approached me, and being the amazingly kind person that he is, told me not to worry about the mistake. He told me that those moments of rawness, of humanness, can sometimes make worship more engaging and more meaningful for people. And I knew deep down he was right. Perfection isn't the point of worship. Connection is. So why was I being so hard on myself? I was operating from a place of shame, a shame that my brain tried to erase by rationalizing or excusing what had happened. I had made up stories in my head about how my slip-up was not my own, but something or somebody else's. If only I had a different folder where the pages were easier to read. If only I'd used an iPad instead of paper, which that one clearly didn't stick. If only I had read fears instead of ears. What I came to realize was that no matter what, how much positive, encouraging feedback was given to me from others, it didn't completely smooth over the unease I was feeling. The only way to do that was to go inward and wrestle with my hurt. When you think of the word compassion, what word or phrase comes to your mind? Anyone?
Action after.
Yeah, I resonate with a lot of those that were just shared. When I began to consider the word compassion, I thought of kindness, gentleness, and caring. The word almost felt warm and fuzzy to me. She's a super kind, compassionate person. They're a deeply caring, compassionate person. But I didn't know, in fact, the word's origin. Compassion comes from Latin, with com meaning with, and pati meaning to suffer with. Not as warm and fuzzy as I had initially thought. Now, if compassion towards others means to suffer with others, then self-compassion would mean to suffer with yourself. Suffering is an intense word, and I understand the desire to want to distance yourself from it. The first noble truth of Buddhism is that there is suffering. Suffering exists. Suffering directly connects with the 5 remembrances of Buddhism that Tina read earlier. I am of the nature to grow old. I am of the nature to have ill health. I am of the nature to die. All that I love and all who are dear to me are of the nature to change. My actions are my only true belongings. These 5 remembrances carry inherent suffering. It's hard to age. It's hard to be sick. Dying can often be a very painful process for folks. Change is difficult to accept, and being held accountable to our actions isn't always easy. These 5 do beg the question, though. If I'm of the nature to be this way, then how will I choose to live? If I am of the nature to suffer, how can I do my best to suffer well? When it comes to self-compassion, we often have to come to terms with our shame. Shame that we aren't good enough. Shame that we screwed something up. Shame that makes us believe that we aren't worthy of deep love. When we initially feel this shame well up in us, filling our chests like hot, churning water, we often try to rationalize our way out of it. This isn't my shame to carry. It's your shame, because blah, blah, blah. Why am I so full of shame right now? It must be a mistake. Shame makes us suffer, which is hard to bear. But trying to kick the can down the road only intensifies and lengthens this period of suffering. Self-compassion is a vulnerable act because it asks us to accept the shame, however big or small. It asks us to not try and erase the shame, but to hug it close, like a wounded child. Self-compassion asks us to unapologetically and unconditionally love ourselves. Not just when it is easy, but also when it is really, really hard, especially when it is really, really hard. I see the amount of amazing work that this congregation is putting out into the world. A strong belief in the deep need for social justice. A home where neighbors can walk through these doors and feel accepted as their full selves, regardless of how they identify. Beautiful, engaging worship that lifts up the deep multiplicities of our shared humanity. A religious education program that helps form our youth and eventually prepare them for their initiation into adulthood. This work requires us to be deeply, deeply compassionate with others. The thing is, in order to be as compassionate as we can be with others, we must first learn to be compassionate with ourselves. The way that I personally work on being more compassionate with myself is through spiritual practice. These kinds of practices look different for many people. Going on a walk, singing with a friend. I find the most nourishing ones to be repeatable, ones I can fall back on no matter the circumstance. I meditate and I pray. Meditation is unique in that it asks us to sit with our suffering, to really metabolize it. In the midst of meditating, we don't have the option of running away from where our mind takes us. We have to familiarize ourselves with it. In Buddhist Sangha practice, you physically aren't supposed to move your body. You're asked to sit with parts of your body as they hurt and become numb. It's extremely difficult. But it forces you to shake hands with discomfort, to have a long conversation. It is in my deepest moments of meditation where I begin to resonate with Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes' statement, "I am enough," as opposed to "I feel enough." I find the most tender parts of my soul and I touch them without attaching shame or anger. I feel serene in these moments, full of love for myself and the world around me. I feel called to go out into the world and share from my cup, no longer drained by my own shame. Prayer may be a trickier word for some here today. I understand that it can carry significant religious trauma, and I want to recognize that. I also understand if words of reverence don't resonate with you. What I want to do is offer you all the opportunity to reclaim and reauthor this word. I believe that you don't have to believe in God to pray. I see prayer as a two-pronged entity, one that gives us the opportunity to let go of things that feel unapproachable, while also giving us the chance to envision the world we want to live in. While in prayer, we can ask a force larger than ourselves, whether it be a higher power or our larger community, to help us let go of the unnecessary pain, the hurt that isn't serving us. We can call upon a strength and resolve that may feel elusive in this world that can so often make us feel small or weak. In this heart space, we can also do visionary work, asking ourselves what it would look like to live in right relation with our communities and the earth. I have found that giving myself the time and space to both let go and envision is so important for me. It helps me keep the love at the center with both my justice work and my spiritual life. I don't pray to ask for things I want. I pray to foster the love in myself that needs to be shared. If neither meditation nor prayer resonate with you, I understand completely. We all have different practices that center us. What I want to request of us today is to think of a practice that asks us to be compassionate with ourselves, to sit with what is hard for us. In the grand scheme of things, my ears, fears, mix-up was a small thing. At least I like to tell myself that. But I still carried shame about it. For some of us, that shame shows up in heavier ways, like a time where we didn't have the courage to stand up for ourselves. This may look like the shame of battling addiction, the shame of hurting someone we love by lashing out in anger. These moments of shame are difficult, and without choosing to wrestle with them, they can drag us down and affect our ability to spread love in the world. The first principle of Unitarian Universalism states that every person has inherent worth and dignity. This includes ourselves. We have to be enough, not feel enough. We can't feel compassion towards ourselves or others. We are compassionate. Compassion is a verb. So let us go forth and be gentle with ourselves in the same way we try to be with others. Let us strive to care for our own wounds, just as we would anyone else's. Let us be a loving band of wounded healers. May it be so. Blessings and amen.
Please rise and bow to your spirit for the singing of our next hymn, which is number 123 in your gray hymnal, Spirit of Life. And we'll sing it 2 times.
I was also supposed to introduce that hymn, and I didn't do that. So I'm practicing it right now. Doing it. As we go about navigating the rest of our days, weeks, months, years, and lives, let us give ourselves the grace that we so desperately need. May compassion be the light that guides us through our windiest and waviest storms. Blessings to all.